Dudes, welcome to the vidcast of August 22nd. This is all about Quadrant. Man, it's exciting, of course, because as people have been talking about it, this is my 400th movie. Bizarre, so let's get past that. But yes, I'm a collector at heart, so I started numbering my movies many, many years ago with number 1 and 2 and 4 and 20 and 60 and 80. And as we were approaching number 400, it dawned on me that it looked like number 400 would be the first of the pulp noir movies that I'm really super excited about, and I'll tell you why. So in fact, it turned out that Quadrant is number 400. And here's what's different about Quadrant. I wanted to make a number of movies under the sub-label that would be darker and edgier than recent full moon movies, especially ones like, Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man and Barbie and Kendra. Movies more like films I made back in the 80s and 90s, like From Beyond and Dolls and Castle Freak, but with a sort of a Lovecraftian vibe. I also thought it would be cool to, since I'm a big fan of noir films, to not only make these movies and shoot them in color, but later on release them in black and white, which we're going to do. So here's the scoop when it comes to Quadrant. First of all, today you can go to fullmoonfeatures.com and watch what I can only call a total honest surprise to me and Robin, because Joe Bob calls and he says, hey, we want to do this cool premiere for these fans who paid a lot of money to charity to have a Hollywood premiere with Joe Bob and Darcy. And we thought, well, why not make it at your house, meaning our house, the house that Robin and I live in, because it's a cool Hollywood house. You have a screening room and these people will freak out. They won't even know where they're going till the last minute. They think they're going to go to some screening room. They don't know what movie they're going to watch. So we, of course, said, okay, Joe Bob and Darcy, we're up for that. And they arrived. We knew the time they were getting there. And it turned out the premiere was Quadrant. This was some weeks ago. And these people were super nice and super freaked out because all of a sudden it's like me and Robin and Joe Bob and Darcy, and we screened the movie. So we have a whole video of them arriving, getting some booze, talking in the kitchen. The amazing Brooks Davis shot this all with one camera. And then we went down to our screening room where we screened Quadrant. And then Joe Bob goes, hey, now we must do a Q&A. I go, a Q&A? There's 2 people here. He says, no, we got to do a Q&A. So we dragged over 2 directors' chairs and sat side by side. And it was a good 15, 20 minutes. Joe Bob asked me questions, and I behaved like I was in front of an audience of 200. But it was really these 2 guests, and Robin and Darcy. And anyway, we shot this, and we thought it'd be fun for you guys to see it. So if you go to fullmoonfeatures.com, and I hope by now you're a subscriber. It's the only way you're going to keep us alive here in this bizarro digital world. Check it out. It's live right now on fullmoonfeatures.com. Now moving to Quadrant, which is releasing tomorrow. And what's cool about Quadrant, other than the movie itself, which I'm excited about, and we also shot the second pulp noir movie called Death Streamer, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But what I like about Quadrant is, first, it's a terrific script from Courtney Joyner. Courtney and I go back many years. He wrote some of our best material, movies like Lurking Fear and Dr. Mordred and Puppet Master 3. He wrote a really complex script about a female serial killer who channels Jack the Ripper. And there's a neat spin to it, which has to do with this virtual reality sort of world, this helmet that's been created as a medical device to help people conquer their fears. But of course, things go wrong when our lead gal comes in and we think she's got stuff she wants to get rid of. Instead, it becomes a thrill ride. She's into Jack the Ripper, and I won't tell you what happens after that. But I'm really, really proud of the movie. And one of the things that we're doing, which no one's done yet for whatever that's worth, is, in this current world of streaming, the way movies get released, other than big theatrical films, which obviously start off in the theaters, is they go out first on streaming. So, if you're a subscriber to a channel, you get to see it. Or if you want to download to own, if you want to rent it on Amazon, you can rent it on Amazon. And then a few months later, it goes to the free sites like Pluto and Tubi. Tubi's been amazing to us, and we love the relationship. But on Tubi, as you know, you can see the movie for free, but you got to watch the commercials. And then a few months later, we release it on physical. So it'll come out on Blu-ray and DVD. So that's sort of the pattern, the way these movies get released. So I thought, well, that. Let's just put everything out across all platforms on day one. That way, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I think people who rent a movie, let's say on Amazon, are not the same people who necessarily watch it for free on Tubi. And there are a lot of people who love physical media, and they shouldn't have to wait. So on tomorrow, Quadrant will come out on all platforms. If you want to rent it, you want to buy it, you want to look at it on Tubi. And just to add one more note to the Mad Pie, what we're doing is, of course, and it's available tomorrow, they're in stock, Blu-ray, all right, DVD. And I thought, well, why not release it on VHS? Yes, VHS. No one's done that in like forever. And just to make this more exciting, now we're charging whatever the normal dollars are, and we did a little research. These are not cheap to make anymore because no one's making VHS. So the standard price for a VHS tape is like $29.95. So we're going to charge the standard price, but I'm going to personally sign every one of these. You buy a VHS, even if your machine is lost 20 years ago, but you want it because it's cool, I will personally sign it at no extra charge. I'm signing all VHS tapes. So it's also funny, we have a printer who I've been working with now for close to 30 years, Sam, fantastic dude. And I called him a few months ago, said, Sam, we're going to be releasing these pulp noir movies, so I'm going to need the obvious, the usual wraps. I'm going to need a Blu-ray wrap and a DVD wrap, but we're also releasing them on VHS. And he says, I haven't done that in 20 years. I said, well, get out your machinery because we need it. So about 4 days ago when he was going to go on press and do whatever he needed to do, and we needed some for this and to have in stock, he called me, he said, Charlie, I got really bad news. I said, what happened? He said, my machine, my die cutting machine blew up. I haven't used this thing in 20 years and it literally just fell apart. And I said, well, can you get another one? He said, yeah, I'm going to have to rush it. It's a vintage machine. He said, I haven't printed VHS sleeves literally for 20 years. He rushed, he got it, and luckily we now have our VHS copies of Quadrant. So yeah, tomorrow, the 23rd, check out Quadrant. I'm proud of the movie. And in about a month or so from now, we're going to release it also in black and white, which I think goes with the film noir vibe. And I'm trying to create these pulp noir movies in a style where they're sort of compelling character-driven stories, but with a bit of a modern spin. So in the case, for instance, of Death Streamer, which is the second pulp noir movie, which we already shot. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's now in post-production. It's a classic twisted vampire story about this vampire who lives in this decadent house, and he takes his victims, his young women, down into the kill room. But he not only kills them, he live streams their deaths. And there's a reason for that, which I will not reveal because otherwise, the movie won't be as cool. So, we're trying to make these things more clever, and definitely there's a lot of blood and some guts and boobies. I mean, that's what's in these movies. And the third one, and not to get too far ahead that I'm shooting, is called The Lost Girl's Private Diary. And it's a gothic paranormal romance, and I'm shooting that in Italy. First time in a while that I'm shooting a movie in Italy. And I would best compare it to a film I did years ago called Meridian with Sherilyn Fenn. So the pulp noir movies are going to be, I think, really cool. I love the black and white vibe, and yeah, it's available tomorrow on all platforms. So see it on Tubi or buy the VHS and have fun. And remember, right now you can go to fullmoonfeatures.com and see Joe Bob's screening, which is, if nothing else, a hoot. So thank you, and I'll see you on the next Full Moon Universe. Ciao.